Hello everyone, this is Kalyani from the Department of Civil Engineering, St. Martin's Engineering College. I would like to brief you about the working procedure of the water treatment process. So before jumping into the process of the water treatment process, I would like to brief you about what is the importance of the water treatment process. So these are the stages of the water purification. So before detailedly looking into each stage of the filtration, let us first know about the importance of the water treatment process. So as a civil engineer, there is a quote saying like, if a doctor is not good, he treats a patient at a time and only one patient falls sick. But if a civil engineer is not good at work and if he is not doing his job properly, then there is a loss of many lives. So that is the reason the water treatment process we are going to do is, there are many the following are the water treatment process. We have to clean the water, and it is to remove the microorganisms and the pathogens from the water, because in the ancient times people were having a misconception that the diseases are spread due to the air. But later, because of the cholera epidemic or the pandemic spread in the cholera in the year 1821, the people started realizing the importance of water having the same safe purpose, and learning about the importance of the water, and as well as the importance of the drinking water, to have the safe drinking water. So then to remove the hardness of water. So what do you mean by this hardness is nothing but because of the presence of the alkalinity in the water, and as well as because of the salts present in the water, the hardness is created in the water. So this also we are going to remove it in the process of the water treatment, and also make it to suitable for the industrial purpose and as well as the drinking purpose. So the next after this we have the after the quality of the water. So make it as a potable water. So what is the purpose of this potable water is, first let me tell you what is the difference between palatable and potable, and what is also the wholesome water. So as you all know, the earth's surface is major part covered with water, but then also we have very less percentage, almost 1% is only present for the purpose of drinking. So in that 1% also we have different sources of water. So what are the different sources of water is the surface source and as well as the subsurface source. Surface and the subsurface source of the water. So the surface source of water comes into the category of in the surface source we have the river, lakes. Whereas in the subsurface source we have the aquifers and aquefuge. Aquifer and the aquefuge, that is the groundwater. Then next, so to make it coming to the properties of the water, we have the physical, chemical and the microbiological properties. So before the water treatment is done, first we will know about the properties of water. That is because before we are treating, we need to know what is the problem actually. So to know about the problem in the water, or to know about the impurities present in the water in the real sense, so we will learn about this physical, chemical and the microbiological properties. So coming to the physical category, we have the physical properties as turbidity, color, odor, taste and temperature. So what is this turbidity is? Turbidity is nothing but the opaqueness present in the water. So what is the reason for the turbidity is? The reason for the turbidity is because of the presence of the clay, silt and the microorganisms or the pathogens present in the water makes the water turbid. So turbidity is nothing but the resistance offered against the passage of the light. Once you are passing a light, for example, if you take a clean, clear water in a water glass, and if you pass the light, then you can see clearly the base of the glass. But instead, if you take some silt water and then pass on the light, you could not see the base of the water. That is because the other glass, the second one, is having the turbidity because of the impurities present in the water. So the turbidity is nothing but the resistance to the passage of light. Resistance to the passage of light. Then next, the color. So color is nothing but by the physical appearance. If the color is pleasant, if you look at the water and if you see it as a color as a pleasant, then we feel like drinking it. Just now in the previous slide, I have told you like what is palatable, potable and wholesome. So let me just again tell you what is palatable, potable and wholesome water is. Potable water is the water which is safe for drinking, and palatable water is the water which is pleasant to look at, that it doesn't have any objectionable color, smell and also the taste. So, and all the temperature also falls under this category. So, that is the palatable and potable. So, we actually work on as a civil engineer for the wholesome water. This is the main target of supplying the wholesome water for a particular city. So, what do you mean by the wholesome water is nothing but? Wholesome water is nothing but it has all the properties of the water, and as well as it has all the minerals. Minerals are in abundant. Minerals are in abundant along with the properties of the water. So, this wholesome water can be done once you check for the properties of the water, the physical, chemical and the microbiological properties we are going to check before the treatment is done. Once we are collecting the water from where? From the raw, we are collecting the water, raw water from the surface source or either subsurface source. We are collecting the water, and once we collect the water, that we are going for the checking for the water properties. If these properties are lying in the permissible limits, then there is no issue with it. But if they are not lying in the permissible limits, then we are going to work it on it and then we are going to treat. That is what is about all. So, the next is the odor. Odor is nothing but the smell. So, if we detect it, we are going to, if we get a pleasant smell from the water, then we feel like drinking it. Then the taste. Taste is nothing but the objectionable taste. We are not willing to drink it. Then the next, the temperature. So, generally the temperature of the water should not be greater than 25 degrees. So, we have to see that the temperature should not lie greater than 25 degrees. Then next, the turbidity. Just now I have told you, no? So, the turbidity is nothing but the large amount of the suspended matter. Because of the suspended matter, there is a turbidity in the water. So, what are we doing? We are trying to remove the turbidity by treating the water in the sedimentation tank and in the flocculation tank and as well as in the filtration bed. In a while, I'll come to you and I'll come about those three things. We'll in detail discuss about what is a coagulation, what is flocculation and as well as what is sedimentation in just a while. So, for now, you understand what is turbidity. So, turbidity is measured by the turbidimeter and is expressed in milligram per liter, and we also use the nephelometric turbidity units, NTU. Nephelometric turbidity unit is the other way of measuring the turbidity in a water. So, as per the permissible limits, it should not be more than 35 milligram per liter. If the water is having the turbidity of 35 milligram per liter, then it is objectionable for drinking or any other purpose. So, what do you mean by this 35 milligram is 35 milligram is the amount of the suspended solids present in 1 liter of the water taken. If it is greater than that, then it is objectionable for drinking. So, this is all about the turbidity. Then next, the color is nothing but we use the cobalt for measuring the color. Then next, the taste and odor, it should not be objectionable. Then the temperature, as I already told you, it should not be greater than. So, the next, coming to the chemical parameters, the second category of the properties of the water. The chemical parameters are the solids, suspended solids, dissolved and volatile. So, let me tell you what is the suspended, dissolved and volatile solids. So, suspended, dissolved and volatile. Suspended is nothing but which are having more specific gravity than water. So, these are having more specific gravity than water, and then the dissolved solids are which cannot be separatable. They are inseparable from the water. So, they just submerge, they get dissolved with the water. Then next, the volatile is nothing but those impurities which can be easily evaporated. Volatile is nothing but those evaporated, which can be easily evaporated is nothing but the volatile. So, these things need to be removed from the water, then only it will lie in the drinking water standards. Then next, coming to the hardness, we have different types of hardness, that is the temporary and also the permanent hardness. So, in the permanent hardness, we are going to treat it using the UV radiation, which I will show you in a while in the video, and the temporary hardness can be simply treated by boiling it to high temperatures. Then next, chlorides are used for the, if the chlorides are in excess proportion, then we are removing it by the process of chlorination. The disinfection process we call it. Then the pH value, the most and the important property of the water is the pH value. The drinking water should always have pH value lying between 6 to 8, the pH value. So actually the pH scale we use to measure the acidity and alkalinity and the neutral property of any liquid. So if the pH value is less than 7, we call it as alkaline, and if it is more than 7, we call it as acidic. So the pH value of water should lie in the range of 6 to 8. Then next, the dissolved gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide and hydrogen are measured, and we have to see that whether they are lying in the permissible limits. Then the nitrogen compounds are also falling in an important category. Then the metals, because we are collecting the water from the surface and as well as the subsurface source. So the surface and the subsurface source water will have the impurities, because we are collecting the water from the many the sources, like we take it as a river, lake, pond, or else so this is the untreated water to the treated process. Now coming to the main topic, that is the untreated water. From where am I collecting this untreated water or the raw water? From the source. From source I am collecting the untreated water. Then the first stage is coagulation. First, before explaining what is the process happening in the coagulation, let me first define you or tell you what is the term coagulation. So the term coagulation tells you like for example, if you take a glass of water and if I put some soil in it or some solid particles which cannot be mixed or dissolved in water, if I put it in this, then what will happen? And if I leave this glass of water for a while, all the solid particles will settle down at the bottom. All the solid particles will settle down at the bottom generally. But the lightweight particles will not settle down. The lightweight particles will be floating in the water, and because you have mixed the soil, the change in the color also will be seen in the water. That change in the color is nothing but the turbidity. Just now we have discussed. Na? So the soil is the heavier particles, the particles which are having more specific gravity than water will be settled down at the bottom. So no issue with that. They will be removed. But the lightweight particles will be floating and will be moving along with the water molecules, which cannot be separated. That we are removing using the process of coagulation. So here I am adding some coagulants. So what are the coagulants is nothing but we have aluminium sulfate and also these are the coagulants: aluminium sulfate, ferrous sulfate, ferric sulfate, ferric chloride and lime, or these are the generally the coagulants which we use, out of which the aluminium sulfate or alum is the most important coagulant which we are using, because what is the factor for choosing this coagulant is it is easily available in all the forms, the first thing, and the second thing is we are not purifying very less quantity or a minimal quantity. We are purifying it at a very large number. So that is why we need to make it economical. So that because the water is a basic necessity for a human being to survive, and we have to make the wholesome water available for the entire society. So for that reason we have to see that it is economical. Then next is we have to see for the pH range and produces the less sludge. So what is sludge is nothing but the heavier particles settled, like silt, clay formed at the bottom of the tank, we call it as sludge. So now what did I do? I have added one of the coagulant easily available. Then once I add the coagulant, what is happening? The heavier particles, because of the addition of the coagulant, the lightweight particles also will settle down. So the alum polymers, this is the main coagulant I am adding. Because of the addition of this coagulant, what is happening? There is a jelly kind of thing, gelatinous material is formed. This gelatinous material is nothing but the floc. So what do you call this? Floc. So now the lighter particles or the less specific gravity particles also have become heavier. Because of what? Because of the addition of the alum. So the lighter weight particles have merged because of the negative and the positive charge have come together, and now they have formed a coagulant, and the floc is formed, and that floc has become a heavier particle which is having more specific gravity, and because of that it gets in the flocculation tank. Once you change it to the flocculation tank, then what is happening? The heavier particles will settle down at the base. So we have seen in the previous slide now. So once I add this oil, the heavier particles will settle down. So I want this heavier particle to be formed. So to make this heavier particle to be formed, what am I doing? I am adding alum. So once I add this alum, the heavier particles has formed, and now this heavier particle has to be removed. In the flocculation tank, the floc is formed. Now all this is all this treated water is sent to the next is the sedimentation tank. So what is happening in the sedimentation tank? The basic simple concept, that is, in the all the heavier particles will settle down at the sedimentation tank. So the naturally more specific gravity particles will by default settle, and the lightweight particles, we have made them more heavier particles by adding the alum and forming a floc. So now all the particles will be settled down in the sedimentation tank. And the sedimentation tank, we have one more term to be learnt is detention time. So what is detention time is, the more slow it moves from the starting to the ending point, the more particles will settle down. Very common basic thing which you know is, now the water is entering from this point. So this is my sedimentation tank. The water molecule, one single water molecule if you consider, it is moving from the starting point to the ending point. So what is happening? The more slow it moves, the more heavier particles will settle down easily. So like this, we have this detention time. So detention time is nothing but, we can also define it as the time taken by one single water molecule to move from the starting point to the ending point. The more slow, with a very less velocity if you give, the heavier particles will settle down in the sedimentation tank. So this is about the sedimentation tank, coagulation, flocculation and sedimentation. So after the process of sedimentation, what is happening is, almost 70 to 80% of the water is purified. But our main target is to supply the wholesome water to the society. So it should be 99.99% pure. So to make it 99.99% pure, we are going on with these other stages of water purification. So after the sedimentation, what is the next stage? The next stage of purification is nothing but the filtration. Again, coming to the filtration, we have two kinds of filter beds. So here, what are the two kinds of filter beds is the slow sand filter and the rapid sand filter. Excuse me, slow sand and rapid sand filters. So this filter beds, first let me tell you what is filter bed. Filter bed is nothing but, it is the layer of the sand arranged like fine sand at the top, then the medium at the between and the coarse at the last. So when the water is passing now when the water is passing from the topmost layer, what is happening? The water is having very less voids. The water is having very less voids. So it will try to pull out the gelatinous material. Why is the gelatinous material formed? Because we have added here the alum. The alum has become a gelatinous material and that floc is formed. If it is settled down in the sedimentation tank, it is okay. But some of the particles which were not able to settle down in the sedimentation tank are trapped in the filtration beds. So on the filtration bed, these gelatinous material are trapped in the topmost layer. Then the water will be passing to the medium and the coarse, and here we are going to collect the treated water. So the slow sand filter will have an efficiency of 98%, whereas this will have a efficiency of 88%. Rapid sand filter will have less efficiency, but the water is purified at a very high rate. The water is purified at a very high rate, but less efficiency. So this what did I say? When the water is passing through the fine bed, the gelatinous material is trapped on this topmost layer. So what we call is the Schutt's deck. Schutt's deck is nothing but the dirty skin Schutt's deck we call. So what is this Schutt's deck is? The dirty skin formed on the water, the topmost layer, because of the gelatinous material, we call it as Schutt's deck. Once it has become a thicker coarse layer, then water is not allowed to pass. So what we do is we remove that. So we clean that filter bed and then we replace it again by using the backwashing. So when we are filtering the water, we are coming from the top to the bottom. When we are doing the backwashing, we are going from the bottom to the top. So this is how we are going to do. the filtration. Then next, after the filtration, almost slow sand filter or rapid sand filter, almost the water is purified. But still, we look on for the microorganisms and pathogens present in the water. If the microorganisms or pathogens are present in the water, then they are removed in the process of this, what you call this, disinfection. So we use the process of disinfection. We use the process of disinfection to remove the impurities present in the water. So till now, what did we complete? We have collected first the raw water. The raw water is collected. Then we have sent it to the... Before running into the next stage of water purification, let me first brief you about the stages of water purification which were completed. So first, what did I do? I have collected the raw water from the source. Then after the raw water is collected, then we have sent it to the water treatment plant, and in the water treatment plant, we have checked for the water properties. The water properties were checked here, all the three. So the water properties were, what were the water properties? The physical, chemical and the microbiological properties were checked here. So the physical properties, chemical and the microbiological properties were checked here. So if they are microbiological properties were checked here, then after that, after the checking of the water properties, then what did we do is, we are sending it to the water treatment plant for the purification. So what is the first stage of purification? Is the screening. So the first stage of purification is screening. In the screening, what we do is, we are going to remove the heavier particles like the what you call the weeds, the plants, and also as well as some rags, fish, some other the objectionable particles which are heavier and noticeable are removed in the screens. So how are we arranging the screens? We are arranging the screens in a direction, at an inclined direction to the flow of the water, so that the objectionable particles are removed at this initial stage itself. Then after the screening, we have the next stages. The next stage we have is the next stage we have is the water treatment. After screening, we have the next stage is the coagulation. Just now I have told you what is coagulation and what is the process of coagulation. Then after the coagulation, we have the floc is formed, the floc is removed, and in the flocculation process. Then after flocculation, what is the next stage you have is, after flocculation you have the sedimentation. Sedimentation is the next stage of water purification. So after sedimentation, what was the next stage? We have the filtration. After the sedimentation, we have the filtration. So here in the filtration, what I am doing, I am trying to use either slow sand filter or rapid sand filter, and in the filtration there is nothing but I am passing the water through a filter bed. The order we have seen now, the order is in 3 layers. One is fine, medium and coarse. This is the order of the sand we are arranging, and we are trying to pass the water from the top to the bottom, and in the topmost layer it is the heavy impurities are caught in the topmost layer, and then the pure water is collected at the bottom. Okay, and when the filter bed is, when the efficiency of the filter bed is falling down, what we do? We clean the filter bed in the reverse direction. We call it as back washing. So we use the back washing to clean the filter bed. Then after that, what we are going to do is, after the filtration, this is all about filtration. Then after filtration, what is the next stage? What is the next stage after filtration is, here in the process of filtration, almost the water has become palatable, but it has not become wholesome. So what is palatable? I have told you in the beginning now, palatable is it is pleasant to look at. Now you are not able to see any color, you are not able to sense any odor, not able to see any turbidity in the water. So these properties are clear now. Then next, after this filtration, we have the next stage is called as disinfection. So why do we do is this disinfection is so that there are no pathogens left. So there are no pathogens left in the water, For that purpose, we are doing this microorganisms or pathogens which are not seen with your naked eye. They are removed in the stage of this disinfection. So, the main disinfectant we are using is chlorine. The main disinfection is chlorine. We also use 3 methods of disinfection that I will be showing you in the video. That is UV, ozone and chlorine. These are the 3 things we use for the process of disinfection. Then once the disinfection process is done, here we are adding the chlorine for removing the microorganisms and pathogens present in the water. We also add some excess chlorine in the water so that the suspended chlorine should remain in the water. So that for what purpose we are adding? So whatever the impurities are present at the water treatment plant, we are removing by adding chlorine. Then again, why are we adding this excess chlorine, or why are we maintaining some part of chlorine present in the water is because during the process of supply, after the disinfection, the next stage is we send it to the source and then we supply it to the household. So during the process of supply, in the mid path, in the path of the from the water treatment plant to your house, in the path from the water treatment plant to your house, in the pipeline there are some impurities, there are some silt present in the water, or there is some rust present in the pipes. Because of this, the water may again become impure. So what we are doing, in beforehand we are adding this chlorine so that the water is disinfected and we are having a safe water. That is why we add this excess chlorine in more proportion during the rainy season, because there is more silt present in the pipes because of the rains. So that is why in the rainy season we can sense the water smell which is having more chlorine content. So let's just look at the video of all the water treatment process which we have just now discussed. Okay, so the water treatment process. So what is the water treatment process and the stages of water purification, what were the things we have learnt, that all just have a brief look at all these things. So this is the potable water, and we also have the wastewater treatment, but today we have focused on the drinking water treatment plant. So in the drinking water treatment plant, we have different stages of water purification. So what were the stages? First, collecting the water. Here you could see the water is collected and the coagulants were added. The first stage which I have already explained you. So in this, rapid mixing is done. So the negative and the positive charges are added. So in the negative and the positive charges, what we do is, so here what we do, we add the rapid mixing process. Because of the mixing process, because of the rapid mixing, the coagulants are added, and because of the process of mixing, then after, so because of the process of the mixing, the coagulant are added and a flock is formed. So the flock, whatever the flock is formed, the flock is here in the process of rapid mixing, we are adding the flock. See, this is the flock, the negative charge, and the impurities are negative charge, and the alum which you are adding is having a positive charge. The negative and positive will be mixed and a flock is formed. Then that formed flock in the flocculation basin, we are removing it. So the slow mixing process. Once you are adding the alum, we are using the rapid, and once the flock is formed, the slowly settling down is happening. Here you could see, I have said, you know, the detention period, the less velocity, the more settling of the impurities. In the sedimentation tank, the impurities will be settled down. The flock which you could see here, the impurities are being settled down. Because of the addition of the flock, the particles have become heavier. They have attained more specific gravity than water. Because of that, they are able to settle down. Then next is the sand filters. So the next, after the sedimentation, what was the next stage we have discussed? It was the filtration bed. So here in the filtration beds, we have the sand filters. So we have 2 types of sand filters, the rapid and the coarse. So fine, medium and coarse. This is the order of the arrangement of the filter beds or the sand beds. So the water is passing through this and only the treatment is done. So in the treatment of the water is treated, and then next what is happening? the once we are getting the pure this is the second, the sand filter. So this is the second stage of arranging, like coarse, medium and fine. Then the water is sent for treatment from the downward direction. So like this we are going to arrange it. Then after the filtration, what was the next stage? That is, the turbidity is checked after this, and then the chlorination, UV and ozone. This is the ozone, UV and the chlorine. These are the three disinfectants we are using to clean whatever the impurities which were not able to be cleaned in the filtration bed are cleaned because of this disinfection method. So these are the stages of water purification. With this, once the disinfection process is completed, we are going to supply the wholesome water to the society, and this is how we are going to get the complete water for the society. Thank you.